Imagine a massive, bustling city. Now imagine what would happen if every single postal worker and garbage truck suddenly vanished. The streets would be buried in trash, and nothing would ever get delivered. It would be total chaos. To prevent that kind of disaster, the microscopic cells inside your body operate with an infrastructure just as organized as any major metropolis. They have to carefully manage their resources and their waste. A cell has its own factories, a structure called the endoplasmic reticulum that builds the things it needs. But building things isn't enough. The cell needs specialized centers to handle the logistics of moving those goods and disposing of the trash. To keep this city running, we have to look at two specific structures that we'll be exploring today, one that manages shipping and another that handles sanitation. This is a photograph of Camillo Golgi, the scientist who first described the cellular shipping center that now bears his name, the Golgi Apparatus. Looking at this diagram of the Golgi Apparatus, we can see it's made of a system of flattened sacs. Think of these as tiny pouches, each wrapped in a thin, skin-like membrane, stacked parallel to each other. Each of those individual pouches in the stack is known as a cistern. These stacked membranes don't just float randomly. They often have direct connections with the membranes of the cell's factories, the endoplasmic reticulum, creating a complex, linked transport network. This physical connection is what allows the Golgi to act as the direct receiving dock for all the materials synthesized by the cell's factories. Let's follow a molecule through this diagram to see how the shipping process works. First, raw materials, like simple sugars, arrive at the receiving side of the Golgi apparatus. As the materials move deeper into the Golgi, they get modified. For example, the Golgi can take those simple sugars and build them into complex sugars. Next comes packaging. The newly modified products reach the end of the stack, and a piece of the Golgi's membrane pinches off around the cargo, sealing it inside a tiny transport vehicle called a vesicle. These freshly packed vesicles are then dispatched to various locations, whether that's somewhere else inside the cell or entirely outside of it. Without the Golgi apparatus to modify, sort, and package these materials, the cell's raw products would have no way to reach their required destinations. One of the most important things the Golgi apparatus packages and creates is actually another specialized structure entirely, an organelle called a lysosome. Taking a look at this cross-section diagram, we can see that a lysosome is a pouch wrapped in a membrane. Inside that protective skin, it is filled with powerful digestive chemicals called enzymes. While the Golgi apparatus packages these lysosomes, the enzymes inside them are originally manufactured back at the cell's main factories, specifically the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The lysosome's primary daily job is acting as the cell's waste disposal system. When foreign materials enter the cell, like bacteria or food, the lysosome engulfs them, and its enzymes break those complex materials down into simple, harmless substances. By neutralizing and breaking down potentially harmful waste and worn-out parts, lysosomes run a continuous cleanup operation to keep the microscopic city functional. But what happens during a true emergency? Sometimes a cell's normal internal environment is disturbed, perhaps because the entire cell sustains severe damage. When a cell is dangerously damaged, an emergency protocol kicks in. The protective membrane of the lysosome may burst open. With that membrane gone, those powerful enzymes are released directly into the cell, where they proceed to digest the cell itself. Because of this self-digestion, lysosomes are known as the suicide bags of a cell. This process prevents a broken or malfunctioning cell from causing problems for the rest of the body. This infographic shows how these two parts work as a complete system. The cell's survival relies on the Golgi apparatus handling the logistics, modifying, sorting, and packaging, while the lysosomes handle the sanitation by digesting and cleaning. These two systems rely on one another, especially since the Golgi is responsible for forming the very lysosomes that keep the cell clean. By managing these logistics and waste systems, the microscopic city of the cell maintains the life of our entire body. Here is a quick quiz to test your memory. You can pause the video to think about your answers. 1. What are the main functions of the Golgi apparatus? And 2. Why are lysosomes called the suicide bags of the cell? Ready?
The Golgi apparatus handles storing, modifying, and packaging products. Lysosomes are called suicide bags because they can burst to digest their own cell if it becomes damaged. Recognizing these systems helps us see the constant work happening inside every living thing. There are many more parts of the microscopic city left to explore.